Aha! Ladies and gentlemen, and variations thereupon, this is Modern Escapism. Hello and welcome to Modern Escapism. You will notice that I cannot start podcasts. You will notice I cannot start podcasts. You will notice I can't start podcasts because it's me, Stig, and not Oodles here because he's not very well, so I'm having to take over, and I've done such a splendid job of it. I'm just going to keep that in. But join me tonight. She's sassy, she's glamorous, she's always drunk, she's absolutely fabulous, darling. It's Candy.
Hello, darlings.
Hello. Can you have a glass of wine? And a ham sandwich? And a pickle? It's Gadget.
I actually don't know what that one is. I don't think I recognise that, but hi.
It's from Black Books.
Oh, yeah. Niche quote.
It's Biggie.
Thank you. Hello. And that would happen to me if I was on that show.
Yes.
It would. At the point, what's your name? Biggie.
Before we get into the show, please consider becoming one of our patrons. If you head to patreon.co.uk/Modern Escapism, you can see everything we do. For as little as £1, you can support the show, but we have a plethora of extra stuff that you can get. If you head to modernescapism.co.uk, you will see everything that we do. So, Biggie, bring us your news.
Here he comes.
You may already know, but he doesn't, because it's time for Biggie's Breaking News.
First up, Bitman Books. I've done it as well. Bitmap Books.
Bitman.
It's had to
fall into bits today, haven't we?
Yes, Bitmap Books have had to pull their Mega Drive Genesis Visual Compendium after a legal threat from, guess what, Sega. Yes, the next in the Visual Compendium series, which would have included the Master System, as well as NES, SNES, and Amiga, was supposed to be focused on the Mega Drive and Genesis. However, Bitmap Books owner Sam Dyer has today stated that the book will not be published due to the threat of legal action, which is a fucking bummer because their books are awesome if you haven't seen them.
Yeah, their books are
great. They
great.
really do some great research, some great images. The books are fantastic collector's items. I've got an Adventure Series 1 from them. It was really good.
It seems a weird thing for them to do, especially considering that there is a Master System one out there and they're fine with that.
Yeah, it's just, it's for the fans. It's basically celebrating their brand. It's not doing anything derogatory to it. I just don't understand.
Maybe Sega are planning something like that themselves, like a visual history book or something.
Which you could understand. I think somebody mentioned it might have something to do with licensing images and stuff. I don't know. But yeah, really sad to have read that.
I'm just looking at these books now. They look amazing. Why did you tell me about this? I'm going to have to buy them now.
Yeah, Candy,
it's so good.
Don't. I've got one of them and I had to resist getting more.
It's the world's one.
Well, because as well, all their gaming ones are based around the time that when we were kids. It's all kind of 80s, 90s, and early 2000s stuff they do.
I love my retro stuff. I'm the same. I've had to stop looking into getting those. But I've got the Vita one coming, and the PS3 one. Yeah. Oops.
There's a point and click adventure one that I want that I'm having to resist.
Yeah, I've got that.
Because that's like 50 quid or something. I just want all those nice pictures of Monkey Island.
Next up, developers have been left out of the Callisto Protocol credits. Have accused striking distance of playing favourites. When they were asked about this snub, one source told a publication it stings not to see their work credited. They went on to say, "It sucks. I made a good amount of contribution and worked on it for a length of time." They stated, "To not just be there at all is shitty." One former developer said they would understand if someone such as a contractor did not receive credit for their work on a game if it had only been for a small amount. for a few months' work and they were let off. However, in this case, the same source stated they were affected full-time employees with over a year invested in the title and had a hand in significant parts of the product.
I read about this. It's more than just a little bit shitty and a bit stingy, because they were saying that it was almost like a loyalty thing, wasn't it? Like, oh, you didn't do enough overtime, so you're not getting a credit. But the thing is, if you've put a year of your work into something, it seems like a petty thing. If you're just a player, you're not going to read all the names. But actually, if you're a dev in the gaming industry, it's really important to have your name in the credits, because it goes, it goes towards your CV and everything. It could literally hinder people's futures in the gaming industry not being in there.
I think you should have anything in the credits if you've been involved in any of it, from tiniest detail to the major part of it. You've done some work on that project. You should have your name in the credits. So yeah. Whatever you've done, like, if it doesn't matter, as long as if something you've done is part of that, then why shouldn't you be credited for it?
Well, absolutely.
Well, speaking of the Callisto protocol, it's also been reported that it's had disappointing sales numbers, failing to recoup a reported $162 million budget. This has caused investors in publisher Krafton to lower their target stock prices in response.
I need to know, what fucking idiot had a game budget of $160 million for a single-player game? Like, Control was, what, $50 million? That's one of the best-looking games ever been released. Like, just from what you said, like, if you're going to spend that much money on, hire some good writers. Well, it's also the fact that it's a 6 to 10 hour single player game with no replay value. Like, what are they spending all that on? They didn't build their own engine for it. It's using Unreal, I think. Is it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on Unreal Engine.
They spent it all on death scenes.
Well, no, they didn't, because there's not that many of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Unreal 5. So, sorry, no, it's on Unreal 4 rather. So it's not even on Unreal 5. So it's I don't get it. I don't get where all this money has gone. Is this a money laundering thing for Glenn Schofield? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, obviously, yeah, there's some top tier actors in there, but only really 3 of them. And Josh Duhamel, Karen Fukuyama, and Sam Witwer. Like, it's not full Hollywood, so I don't know where the money's gone. Unless they, like, built the game and then scrapped it and made something else.
I mean, for comparison, Resident Evil Village, the 8th entry in the franchise, managed 6 million units in its first 6 months, despite the profile of the franchise and strong reviews. And I mean, looking at the scores that have been listed here as well, because I know Gadget absolutely adores the game. Across the media, Callisto Protocols received a wide range of scores, including a 9 out of 10 from PC Games N, a 7 out of 10 from IGN, and a 5 out of 10 from GameSpot. So it certainly had mixed reviews, didn't it?
Yeah, because it's not what was promised. And
the story was in the podcast, wasn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. Well, that was the best bit of it. The bloody podcast before it started.
The podcast was really good. Some really good audio on it.
Yeah,
like some of really
maybe that's where the 160 million went. Gwendolyn Christie needed a new boot or something like that.
Yeah. Maybe they spent a lot of it just on the promo stuff and the actual game.
To be fair, the marketing was ridiculous on that game. It was all over the fucking place.
Yeah, you'd expect it to have sold better with that much marketing.
Yeah, but I think then all the reviews came out for it, and everyone was like, "Oh, we'll let it go. We'll wait till it goes on Game Pass or PSN," which is the sensible way.
When it's on Game Pass, I'll be playing it.
Yeah, like I sent my copy down to Oodles for him to play because he was curious on it, and he messaged us. He said, "I've played an hour of it. What the fuck is this game?"
Next up. As I was going to say, this pod is all about facts, and we stand by our facts, but I've been asked to retract a certain statement. So the PS5 vertical issue, reporters claimed that unopened consoles, originally interpreted as unopened inbox consoles, left in the vertical orientation for too long, could potentially see the liquid metal drip down the side of the motherboard and potentially damage the console. The problem is still real, but there's no evidence that it happens on consoles that have been sitting in their box. This was a bit of a misunderstanding. So if you've been shaking your PS5 around and moving it and all this sort of things, then potentially that could still happen. But you probably have been kicking it about a bit.
Potentially he's doing so much heavy lifting there. That's doing more lifting than Eddie Hall.
Want to get ripped? Lift the PlayStation 5.
Well, I mean, true, yeah.
Repeatedly.
Put me back out last time I moved the living room round.
Next up, we got Ubisoft have cancelled 3 unannounced games and have delayed Skull and Bones for, the 6th time.
It's never coming out.
Was it? It's meant to come out in like 2017.
It was meant to come out before Sea of Thieves.
Wow.
Because that was joke, because both Sea of Thieves and Skull and Bones were announced at the same E3, if I remember rightly. So that was the whole thing. It's 2017 is going to be the year of the pirate. It's like, no, it wasn't. Because Sea of Thieves was dead on arrival when it first arrived. It's good now. And Skull and Bones has been delayed for 6 years.
Jesus. Is it just an Assassin's Creed spin-off?
Yeah.
I don't think you even get to do the
they've
fun
got
pirating
all the
stuff, do you? You just sail around.
It's basically an entire game built out of the Assassin's Creed 4 naval battle system.
And that was the worst bit.
I liked it, but
I hate them.
Sea of Thieves is good though.
Sea of Thieves.
It's actually wonderful how shit Ubisoft are doing at the minute, because like they've just been rinsing the same. It's the same game every time with a different skin. And Far Cry 6 is Far Cry 5, and it's just like, yeah, fine.
They do churn out games quick, though, don't they? Like an Assassin's Creed every year or so is pretty impressive.
It's been every 2 years now. I don't think it's impressive. I think it's crunch.
Yeah.
I think what's the human cost of all that? But like, what Watch Dogs Legion didn't fucking do anything. I miss the days of it, of early 2000s Ubisoft, when they were actually a creative company and they did really weird and interesting shit.
Mm. What happened to
Love
the
the
Prince of
Division.
Persia as well? The remake of the first one. Is that ever going to come out?
Probably not. It's probably maybe it'll come out after Skull and Bones.
God.
But even then, they announced that it looked like a fucking PS3 game. I was like,
Yep.
yeah, this is the PS5 generation, mate. Put some fucking polygons in his face.
What have they got? Just looking through. So they basically just do Tom Clancy's Assassin's
Far
Creed,
Cry
Just Dance, and Far
franchise.
Cry.
Yeah,
Innit?
like the Division 2 has been out for far too long now. Like they could do with announcing Division 3.
Yeah,
because like I know you
I'll
said
be up for
Biggie that they do seasons and stuff like that, but it's not really new content, is it? It's just
no,
things to
it's
do.
just more stuff to do. Yeah, you're right. It's more stuff in the game, but it's not anything added as such. It's not DLC really or anything like that.
Yeah, and for a live service,
And they were
game,
going to do. They was going to do a free-to-play Division at some point. That's been in beta, I think, for a while.
I think that's probably for the Chinese market, though, isn't it? Less, not
Yeah.
really. So, yeah, like Ubisoft just seem to be trying to milk the same franchises, and they just can't do anything with it.
Did they do Mario and Rabbids?
They did, and
Yeah.
they've also said like that new one, that Sparks of whatever it is, the one that just came out,
Yeah.
has massively underperformed compared to the first one.
Oh dear.
So I think that's probably, unfortunately, and I know Kurt will be sad about this, I think that's probably going to be the last one of them they do.
When was
It's
the
a shame,
last
'cause those games are
Rayman
good.
they did? They did Rayman, don't they?
Yeah, they do Rayman, but they haven't done a Rayman since Rayman Legends.
Legends. Yeah, could do with a new Rayman. Give us a new Rayman on like a PS5 or Xbox or something. It'd look
Oh,
fucking great.
It
Imagine how
was.
good, imagine how good a new current gen Rayman would look.
Absolutely.
Last one was amazing.
I mean, yeah, Rayman Legends is great. It's one of the best platformers I've ever played.
Yeah, exactly.
But, Assassin's Creed. Yay.
I'm sure they're good. I just never got into them.
The Ezio game, Assassin's Creed 2, and the two sequels that came from that one are fucking brilliant. But the rest of the series is very hit and miss.
The last
I think-
three
I
meant
think
to be
they're
really
just
good.
fine.
The big RPG ones, Valhalla,
Yeah,
Origins, and Odyssey.
yeah.
They're just too big for me. I just
The
feel overwhelmed straight away when I'm playing Valhalla.
Mm.
Yeah, they're too big, and they have very little to do with assassinating anyway. They're just kind of...
You're going to love The Witcher 3 then.
Yeah, but The Witcher 3 doesn't spam you with icons from the first time you step into the game.
Not quite, but it can get that way.
Next. I forgot I had to do
Next
that.
up, a prominent games archivist, VG Densetsu, has dumped over 11 gigabytes of amassed rare content, including photos, scans of articles, videos, in development footage, concept arts, cancelled games, and stuff like that. The data has been collected over years through various existing and deleted sources, and the archive contains information concerning retro to recently released titles. In development images about cancelled games have included the Streets of Rage remake and a Half-Life 2 Episode 3 have been located in the archive by people having a little sniff around. The giant archive is available to download for everyone in forms of RAR or torrents on the Internet Archive site.
Good on him. Happy
Nice
about
work,
that.
man.
Yeah.
Big
I'm not happy about hearing about a Half-Life Episode 3, though.
Well, you knew they were going to have been making it. There've been a few people kind of leaked stuff like what the story for Half-Life Episode 3 was going to be, and they could just never make it work in a way that felt right, so they just didn't do it.
I've never read anything up about it, just to be.
After we finish this recording, I'll find it. Someone released like an early draft of what the script was going to be, and I'll send it to you. It sounds like it would have been really good.
Yeah. And to be honest, the gameplay was the thing that pulled me through Half-Life.
True, yeah.
So,
its awards season is in full swing, and some notable Golden Globe highlights in film and TV. So Michelle Yeoh, actress in musical or comedy motion picture for Everything Everywhere All at Once, well deserved. She had a nice speech as well. You saw that?
Yeah, she did.
I loved Jamie Lee Curtis's reaction as well.
Mm.
Yeah,
It was like a big fuck yeah, wasn't it?
Yeah. She's such a queen. I love her.
I love how little of a fuck that she gives these days.
Yeah.
But it was really nice to see Michelle Yeoh get it, and also in her speech to point out like how difficult it is to be an Asian actor in Hollywood.
Yeah. They tried to play her off, but she's like, "I'll kick your ass."
They tried to play it a few times as well. People just ignored it.
And speaking of beautiful speeches, Ki Hee Kwan, supporting actor in a motion picture for Everything Everywhere All at Once. He gave a lovely one as well.
I was nearly in fucking tears watching him.
Very sweet.
I did read an interesting fact about that. So Ki Hee Kwan has been nominated 33 times for Best Supporting Actor, and he's won every single time. 32 of those times were for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, wow.
And the other one was for Indiana Jones. But he's won it every single time he's been nominated for it in every award.
Yeah.
Stepped away, didn't he, for so long and decided to come
it's
back.
so weird, isn't it? He's such a standout character in obviously
Hollywood politics.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, just
stopped him going
wrong
anywhere.
time, wrong place, you know.
Yeah.
Like his IMDb is far too short for how good an actor he is.
He's worked on stuff behind the scenes. He's helped out on things. He's done like stunt coordinator work as well. He worked on one of the X-Men films, and he actually he's going to be in Loki season 2 as well. So he's come off the success of this and gone straight and been brought into the MCU. So
good on him.
Hopefully, big things for him for the rest of his career going forward.
And that is a beautiful segue for the next one. So Angela Bassett, supporting actress in a motion picture, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and it's the first ever win in the MCU universe for an Oscar. Is that right?
Golden Globe
for an award.
Yeah, Golden Globe. Yeah. She's great in that film. Honestly, she's probably one of.
Oh, she's great.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
She gets much more to do in that film than she does in the first film for like obvious reasons. With kind of Chadwick's passing, they've had to rejig the script and bring forward some of these characters. But because her character is literally going through just ultimate loss of what happened with the snap and what happened with that T'Challa's now died. She's been put in charge and everything. She's an absolute powerhouse in that film. So I'm not surprised that she's won this at all.
Yeah, because she didn't have a very big part in the first one, did she? I'd forgotten she was in it.
Yeah, but she's like front and center for a good chunk of this film.
Isn't that coming to Disney Plus next month?
Probably.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's going very quickly, which is good. Nice to see.
I'm hoping that once Oodles has watched it, we're going to do a bit of a Phase 4 roundup. Because there's a few shows and stuff that we missed towards the back end of it.
Next up, the Fabelmans and Banshees of Inisherin, winner of Best Pictures for Drama and Comedy / Musical, respectfully. Front runners for the Oscars as well.
It's going to be a packed Oscars this year because there's a lot of things in contention now.
Yeah, I've not seen Fabelmans yet because it's not out here. but Banshees of Inisherin is fantastic, and Colin Farrell
Yeah,
won
I'd like to watch that.
for his role in it as well. It's
Yeah,
on
he did,
Disney
yeah.
Plus, I think.
It's on one of the services now. I've
Yeah.
seen people are streaming it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on Disney Plus now. It's brilliant. It's really good. Just definitely everyone should watch it. Yeah, I mean there was a few others in there. Like Austin Butler won for Elvis, which I thought was pretty much nailed on. Since watching the film, I was like,
Deserves it.
yeah, he's going to be up there for best leading actor. So he's like one of the front runners. Him and Colin Farrell, like for the Oscar.
And again, he doesn't quite look like I can't get the words out today.
He doesn't look like Elvis, but he has all the mannerisms.
He just does in the movie. It's an incredible performance. He deserves it just for that, really.
Yeah.
Next up, Luther, the movie, has been given an official release date of the 24th of February in cinemas and 10th of March in Netflix. I really enjoyed the TV series. Really, really enjoy
that gives me
that.
2 months to get the TV series watched. It's doable.
Really good. Have you not seen it at all?
No, but it's been on my list for so long, and it's like, right, now there's a movie coming out. It's like, right, do the TV show so you can watch the movie when it comes out.
I think the first season is incredible. Quality differs a little bit after that. I think season 2 is pretty good. But, really good watchable TV show.
Yeah, well, Idris Elba is, 9 times out of 10, great. So,
yeah,
I'm definitely going to get it watched.
Interestingly, Deadpool film director Tim Miller has taken over Borderlands reshoots from Eli Roth. Apparently, Eli Roth wasn't fired. He was busy apparently doing other stuff, but it still makes you wonder why they get somebody else in to do reshoots.
Would that be Eli's sister?
He's done it again!
I mean, yeah. These things happen. Eli Roth is a man who can't not work, so he's gone off to do something else, and there'll just be some reshoots for special effects shots or a bit of dialogue here and there, and they'll just.
It's quite normal, isn't it? It's not like it needs to be. It's necessarily in development hell. Although there has been a trailer out for it for some time that was showed to a closed audience, and this came out about 6 to 8 months ago, and we haven't seen it yet. So I'm maybe a little bit concerned.
Well, that's probably why they're doing reshoots.
I didn't know that.
With it. What is slightly unusual about it, however, is that it's like a big name director doing the reshoots, as opposed because it's normally like your second director, isn't it? Your assistant director doing it.
Yeah.
So I guess the fact that it's Tim Miller doing it is a little bit notable, but we'll just see what comes out of it.
I think it couldn't be in better hands, could it, with him, really?
True. It's going to be one of those films that's either going to be brilliant or shite. So
yeah.
No middle ground on this one.
I was hoping we'd see a trailer at the Game Awards, but there we go.
Maybe E3.
Maybe this is why, because they've realised that didn't work. We're gonna have to redo some stuff. Next
up, Gina Carano is getting trolled as her latest film, Terror on the Prairie, makes $804 at the box office. As a result of her return, the actress has received backlash on social media, naturally, for her theatrical performance, with one user claiming that she didn't bring much to the role. The user took to Twitter and shared his review of the film and wrote, "The movie wasn't terrible, but it was very simple, and honestly, she didn't bring much to the role. One-time watch." Another user wrote, "Sorry, sad how she pissed away such potential to make boring schlock." Another said, "Gina Carano's first big release post-Mando exit." One user said, 67 people paid to see the movie. And one user shared a meme and wrote, "Go woke, go broke."
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Like, I do like a lot of Disney stuff, but I don't want to be a shill for them. But like, everyone seems to think that they can go against Disney. And you can't. I'm sorry. Like,
it's literally biting the hand that feeds. You make yourself a toxic personality, Disney will drop you for all of their faults.
They're all like, people now just like, Disney does this and that, and there was a meme going around saying, like every Disney film now, and it had like either a person of color or a gay person in it. It's like, and
and
it's like,
historically, they have a little bit to make up for.
Yeah, exactly. So they were just like people on that side are kind of like, oh, now Disney are going woke, they're losing loads of business. Like, no, they're not.
No,
they really aren't. So it's. Their share prices may go up and down. That's what happens with companies.
That's what
sit on the
shares
stock
do.
market. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, just you aren't going to beat Disney. So yeah, whatever.
The synopsis for the film is wonderfully short on IMDb. It's in fact it is a single line when IMDb decides to refresh and load it up for me because it's running slow. On the Montana plains, a frontier woman must protect herself against a ruthless gang of outlaws hell-bent on revenge. That's it.
I thought you were going to say that the review was the one line, wonderfully short. Wonderfully short, 10 out of 10.
I mean, the featured user review title is, "Oh my god, unsympathetic protagonist and dumb plot." So yeah, I mean that's Gina Carano's career entirely, isn't it? Because she did that one. She's done another film which is like supposed to be a Hunter Biden or something like that with Lawrence Fox, and it's right wing insanity.
I've watched the trailer and it just looks awful.
Oh no!
It looks like a satire and parody, but the fact that it isn't is just insane. But we shall not go there on this podcast.
But I'm very happy to see people fuck their careers because they can't keep their gob shut.
Next.
I've been trying it for ages.
I mean, we can suck it if you want to.
I know. The Witcher Blood Origin has got the worst Rotten Tomato score in the franchise's history. It's now streaming on Netflix, but the prequel to the popular Witcher series is currently Netflix's number one show, but isn't winning over the fans or the critics. It's sitting currently at 30% out of 24 critic ratings, and the audience score is even worse at just 8% out of more than 1,500 users.
Oops.
That's
anyone here watched it?
No, because when the reviews all came in, I was just like, nah, it's pointless.
Even before the reviews, I had no desire to watch it particularly.
I was excited to watch it because I just like the idea of like Michelle Yeoh in that world, and like it was supposed to be the story of the conjunction of the spheres when humans came to the world and monsters came to the world, and like the elves having to respond to that. I thought, oh, this will be a great idea, and then I read a review of it. I was like, oh no, that's not happening. Apparently, the footage that they recorded was so bad, or missing so many bits of it, they cut it down to change the story to make sense, and that's why it's only 4 episodes. It was supposed to be 6 to 8.
Another one that's wonderfully short.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, I think maybe the last season of The Witcher left a bit of a bad taste in my mouth for whatever reason. And I'm just not excited for its future, and especially like with what's transpired with old Henna's kind of leaving the show. I
was going to say the next series has obviously left a bad taste in his mouth.
Yeah. So, oh well. One season was good.
I liked both, but whatever.
I did like the second series, but I understand where people didn't like it. It was a bit strange.
It actually had a bloody narrative that actually made sense. It wasn't just popping all over the place. That's what annoyed me in the first series. Geralt was over there doing something, and the next episode he was somewhere else. Like,
I mean, the narrative for series 1 makes sense. You just need to have one of those Pepe Silva boards up there with all those lines connecting each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what happens when you base a TV series on short stories.
Sadly, the world of music has been rocked by the loss of Jeff Beck, one of the most influential rock guitarists of all time. Died at the age of 78 this week.
Very sad.
The British musician rose to the famous part of the Yardbirds, who replaced Eric Clapton before forming the Jeff Beck group with Rod Stewart. Apparently his tone, presence, and above all, volume redefined guitar music in the 1960s and influenced movements like heavy metal, jazz rock, and even punk.
Oh yeah, Jeff Beck was one of the greatest guitarists of all time, and not enough people in popular music know of him.
I don't know. I've probably heard stuff, but not realised. And
he's done some incredible work over the years. I think the one that always sticks out to me was his cover of Nessun Dorma, which he did for the Olympics. I think it was fucking beautiful. But he was just one of those players. He's the guitarist's guitarist. Like, ask any of the Jimmy Page was a great rock player. Jimi Hendrix was a great blues and rock player. Jeff Beck was a great guitarist. He could do anything. Anything he put his mind to, he could play. And I think that's what stood him above everybody else. And also, he was the best guitarist in the Yardbirds. Because he replaced Eric Clapton, because fuck Eric Clapton.
Yes.
But yeah,
very sad.
Yeah, I was very sad, and it was very sudden as well because he was touring last year,
Mhm.
but he contracted, I think it was bacterial meningitis.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So yeah, poor guy. Very huge loss for music.
Finally, for the weird world of news, a man bought a storage unit in the USA. Once discovered that instead of some stuff that he could flog, he found the bodies of a murdered family.
What? Jesus
George-
fucking Christ.
Hilarious.
George Jenai bought the unit near Seattle in 1992, hoping to find something interesting and potentially valuable. He was fascinated as to why the storage unit had been untouched for 12 years while still being paid for. In the end, he clipped open the lock, raised the doors, and started digging for treasure. Once inside, he started to get rid of some heavy plastic that was covering everything before getting through to a 3 feet thick layer of old clothes. It was at that point he started to notice a foul smell. Disgusted, he kept on going, eventually discovering a bin bag that contained a human skull. He immediately called the police. Eventually, the medical team were able to identify the bodies of a 36-year-old Barbara Bender and her 2 sons who had been missing for 12 years. Bender, along with 15-year-old Mark and 8-year-old Brian, had been killed by blows to the head. Police also found a hatchet with blood and hair on the inside of the locker as well.
Mate, you're
Barbara
supposed to find weird bits of news, not bleak bits of news.
This
This
is
is
weird.
from 1992.
No,
And
this
giggling
is
your way through it.
Biggie's breaking news.
no, this is current stuff. This is the fact it's been opened all this time. Barbara filed for divorce from her husband the day before she disappeared and was last seen loading up a van. The police have apparently arrested her husband, Mark. He was the person that rented the locker. He confessed to it, and he's received 3 life sentences for 3 counts of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to at least 80 years. Speaking about the gory scene that he discovered, Jenai said, "I was in Vietnam. I've seen this before."
What the fuck? How is this?
Well, that was a nice
Has the
feel-good
guy
thing
just
to
been
end on.
sentenced to something?
No. I just thought it was an interesting story.
It's not books.
Somebody call someone.
It's a true crime podcast.
Oh, Biggie.
It's a weird story.
Are you trying to get the middle-aged woman market involved in here? Just start in putting in some true crime here and there.
Hang on, I'm going
It was
to get my
either
box
that-
wine.
It was either that or another pizza box with this oiled face of Jesus on it. I mean, what more can
I
I
would
do?
have taken the oily Jesus.
Why did you do the
Podcast
only
title.
Jesus one?
Really, Jesus.
That's current and weird and wonderful. Oh, sorry, listeners.
Did you say
I
oily
really did it
Jesus
with
or oily cheeses?
Both.
Oily Jesus. It's either that or another weird rebel, isn't it? It's just we've already done that.
Someone said it looked more like Joe Wilkinson, and everyone's been like spamming him on his Twitter with it, and like photoshopping the pizza box onto pictures of him.
Lovely.
Oh, right. Should we try and pick ourselves up after that awful news of a brutal family murder?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Yeah. Right, listeners, we're going to head into the Nexus where we discuss what we've been doing this week. I should go first, if that's all right.
Go on, friend.
So I'd done nothing this week until yesterday, where I decided to spend a few hours of my time to go and see Avatar 2, The Way of Water.
Ooh.
You nutter.
Let's see.
Are you ready?
Have you
I'm
taken
ready.
one for the team?
Hang on.
So,
Strap in.
Oodles has watched this, which is a shame that he's off. I know he watched this over Christmas. Yeah. Meh.
That good.
Honestly. So I was never like massive on Avatar 1. Like, did it look amazing? Yes, it does look amazing. It was like groundbreaking technology, and it kind of sparked the whole revival of 3D again. But I always found the story and the script really lacking. It is essentially just retelling of Pocahontas, Dances with Wolves, that kind of thing. And it's the same problem with this one for me, unfortunately. I just didn't like the story and the script. Some of the characters grated on me. Is the stuff I did like. There is actually moments that are really great. There is a scene in the middle, like, let me start again. I'll set up the scene with this. Is Jake Sully has now got a family. him and Natiri. This is several years after the humans have picked up and gone off and back away. And he's now got a family. He's got 4 children, 3 of his own, and one of them is a immaculate conception from Sigourney Weaver's avatar. And no one knows who the father is, but her avatar seemed to give birth to this girl called Kiri. So Jake Sully and his family have adopted her and raised her as their own. There is a few humans who stayed behind, who kind of decided to stay with the Na'vi, and there is a young boy called Spider, who is the son of Stephen Lang's character from the first film. But because he was a baby at the time, he couldn't be sent back to Earth in cryogen, so he stayed behind. But he is basically being raised like Tarzan, within the jungle, with the creatures, with the people. He's basically a little Tarzan. That's where we're at. That's where we're at with this film. And all of a sudden,
Blue Cat Smurfs, yeah.
Yeah, all of a sudden the Sky people come back and decide to come back and wage war as they look for something. So Jake Sully is now the leader of the Na'vi resistance, attacking the humans and their bases and their whatever they're doing. So that sets up a whole war again between the humans and the Na'vi. But this time, Stephen Lang is back again. This is all like the plot synopsis. It's not spoiled. It's all kind of right at the beginning, all within within the opening kind of credits.
Okay.
Stephen Lang is back, despite being killed in the first film, because now all of their memories have been transferred into avatars. So now all the Marines from the first films are now avatars of Na'vis in this film.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So nothing there is spoiled. That is all within the trailer, all within the first couple of minutes in the setup.
Well, does that explain why I've seen a screenshot of a Na'vi wearing US commando outfits?
Yes.
I was wondering what that was. I thought, that looks a bit shit.
Yeah. So now let's get back into what I don't like about this film. So that's the setup. And from there, we have 3 hours of them fighting at the beginning. They go off, they join this other clan who are these water Na'vis or whatever they're called. They're unlike that, they're not forest people, they're people who live on the beaches and they know the way of the water. Ooh. So they can breathe longer underwater, they can they're one with the fish and one with the sea creatures. And Jake Sully and his family kind of get adopted into them. And it just becomes a bit of it's kind of split into 3. We have this big battle at the beginning. We have all this section in the middle while the children and Jake and everyone learn and the way of the water. And then we have this cat and mouse game between the Marines and that later on. But it's just bad. The technology is fantastic. It really is. There are moments in this film, stuff like water, genuinely the water looks real. Just woodlands and stuff like that. It looks incredible. But you'd expect that because that's what they've spent the last 12 years working on. It's it's unmatched by anything. The motion capture, the facial features, it is better than anything I've ever seen. It is incredible. But it also has an issue where when you introduce humans into this world is that they start to look a bit weird and fake because they're humans dumped into this CGI world. Yeah, and it looks really weird. So
it's always the lighting, isn't it? The lighting's always off on the humans when everything else around you is virtual. Humans are never lit properly for the scene. Yeah.
So whilst I think that it does look good with all the fake creatures and the fake animals and wildlife and scenery, and that looks great. Mixing it with humans and everything, it can be a bit off-putting. But the problem I have with this film, apart from it being, it's ponderous, it drags. It's way too long. I've said before that I don't care if a film is long if it makes sense and if it earns that length. This really doesn't. It needs a good 45 minutes chopping out of it, which is weird because Cameron thinks that it's too short. He thinks it should have been longer.
James Cameron's always needed a good editor, and he's never had one.
Yeah, the problem with Cameron is that the guy, when it comes to technology and direction and editing and certain parts of cinematography and all that, he's brilliant. Yeah. Not the editing side, sorry, he does need an editor, but when it comes to certain things, he's fantastic, but his dialogue, if he's writing the script and in charge of stuff like that, I don't think he's that good. there's some of the dialogue in this is awful, and the way that the kids talk to each other like kids of nowadays. Like, they use a lot of bros and they call each other bro and cuz.
Right.
That's not a joke. Like, they go, yo, bro, yeah, let's go, cuz. Where are they learning? Where are they learning that from?
I would say these alien creatures who
it really took me out of it every time they use the word bro, because the only person within their kind of living around is who knows that language is their dad and some of the humans who stayed behind. But they're all older people who wouldn't use that dialogue. Like, he wouldn't call his kids bro and cuz.
no,
They've got YouTube.
Yeah, and it just space
YouTube.
It just felt
Blue
really
tube.
jarring, especially when you go to the children from the other tribe and they speak like you'd expect for these, these weird creatures from another planet in these tribes. The way they talk to each other is not like this, and it succumbs to a lot of tropes, especially with the younger child. I don't want to get into spoilers, but there's parts to do with the young girl of the family, which she, you know what I'm talking about, captured and falling off things and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
she becomes the punching bag.
Yeah, it's just, I just couldn't get into it. I'm so bored throughout a lot of this film. I really was. I know people.
I don't
love
remember
it.
much from
I know
the
it's
first
massive.
movie.
I know it's nearly $2 billion now, and I think a lot of that was having the fan base that it did have, but also interest. I went to see this film because I was so interested in what it was meant to be doing. When we had Craig on for our horror month.
Yeah.
He absolutely loved this film, and he's like, I don't see how you can be a lover of cinema if you don't go and watch this film. Like, it's a technical marvel. It's fantastic. It is a technical marvel, but everything else is just a massive turn off for me. Like, the whole Space Marines fighting them, and it's the same thing over and over again. It's like, it's the same story from the first one. Just people, the Marines and humans fighting indigenous people.
So it's a tech demo.
Yeah,
He just does expensive Unreal 5 engine sort of demos, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's all he does, because I think he's incredible for what he says, like the technical side, what he can do and show. Because I remember being blown away by the first movie, just the 3D effects, because it was the first time it really looked like it was doing what it was supposed to. It was incredible. But other than that, I don't remember anything about the movie at all. And we've waited all this time for a sequel, and it's the same thing all over again.
The thing is, has anybody been waiting for the sequel other than James?
No,
Cameron?
but in the sense that he's saying he's going to do it, and it's taken 12 years? Did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the market's there for it. It's on track to be like the fourth highest grossing film of all time. But I do think a lot of that is people being interested in what this technology is like 12 years on. And if I'm being honest, like, the 3D aspect of it hasn't moved on much at all. Like, but everything else has. Like, the detail and the minute details have moved on. I'm not really bothered about 3D. If I ever go and actually see the third film, I don't know if I will be bothered to go see the third film. I think I will be quite happy to wait and watch that on my nice TV at home, because the 3D just didn't sell me. There are nice moments with it where you have, like, kind of, when there's something's burning and bits of ash and stuff is like floating around and stuff, and it's vibrant and things like that. But I just, it's the story and the dialogue just didn't grip me at all. There are moments in this film that actually were quite emotionally effective. There is a scene which is very much kind of, you are doing this to our Earth now. And it does a good job of making you actually feel uncomfortable and quite guilty about what we're doing on Earth. I'm not involved in it, but as a human being, it makes you feel quite guilty, like what they do in this film, the humans. And there is a moment involving the family, which I thought was actually really super effective and quite emotional. So there are bits in there that are really, really good, but it's just surrounded by a lot of flab and, like, things that just aren't good. Like, it really, really needed, like, the script, the dialogue, the editing just needed one big, massive go over. So, yeah, it's a 3 out of 5 film for me. Story's 2 out of 5. Visuals 5 out of 5. I met somewhere in the middle. So, yeah, Avatar. It's all right, but not very good.
And isn't he planning a third, fourth, and
it's
fifth?
supposed
Third
to be
one's in production.
Syncology or something like that.
Third one's ready to come out in 2024 if everything goes to plan. This will be focusing more on kind of internal and tribal feuds and other like species around the planet, rather than it just being humans versus indigenous people again, or indigenous aliens. So I'm quite looking forward to that aspect, moving away from just human space marines versus aliens, and have it more of a let's discover this whole alien world. And they're going to touch on fire, apparently, is what he said. So fire,
They just need to
fire
throw
Navi.
his actual original
basically.
aliens in there as well. Get them in.
Yeah. Just,
Get the xenomorphs in.
yeah,
Yeah.
crash some xenomorphs in there and have a good old whale time. But yeah, I went in with an open mind, and I kind of knew that this is where I thought I'd end up at. So watch the pitch meeting, then you'll see. Yeah, I've watched the pitch meeting now. I've seen the film, and I've read some of the comments underneath, and that just made me dislike the script even more.
No fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that's me.
It's
this
a long
week.
movie as well, isn't it?
3 hours and 15 minutes. I needed to piss twice.
Especially with all that water.
Yeah.
Whee.
Right. Candy, what have you been up to?
Well, I've been poorly this week, so I was looking for something to cheer myself up. And I found a documentary on Amazon called Wildcat. I thought this will do the trick. I was wrong. So Wildcat is, like I said, it's a documentary, and it follows a young lad called Harry Turner who joined the army as a young lad at 18, went off to Afghan and saw some horrific things, and was subsequently discharged with severe depression and PTSD. And he came home and basically, so a lot of trigger warnings here. He tried to take his own life, and happily, unsuccessfully, took himself off to Peru after that to try and kind of find himself again and find a bit of meaning and just to live in his own head for a bit and sort himself out. And his travel took him to a wildlife conservation run by an American PhD student called Samantha Zwicker. So she's really, really intelligent woman, and they become sort of romantically involved. And it turns out that his experience with living in extremely harsh conditions whilst living in Afghan, plus he had a really, really he has a really nurturing, kind nature about him, made him the kind of perfect candidate for what she was looking for in terms of rehoming animals. And it's the story of this ocelot that comes to them as a kitten that they call Keanu. An adorable little thing he is, but Harry just puts everything he has into raising this ocelot and to eventually, hopefully, release him into the wild. And it's so heart-wrenching in places, but also you're really rooting for them to both be okay in the end, because everything that happens to Keanu, this little baby ocelot, is affecting Harry so extremely. And it's just as much of a battle with his own depression and PTSD as it is, like, everything is riding on releasing this ocelot. Basically, he's the ocelot's mum kind of thing. So the ocelot has to make a connection with just one of them. So the girlfriend's kind of back and forth from the States, because she's a PhD student, so she's still writing her thesis and everything. So he has to be the one to really bond with this ocelot. And he's sort of, the amount of time and effort that he puts into raising this tiny creature, and he'll take him out, hunting at night. It goes from him being like a little baby kitten and everything to him actually having to teach him to hunt and to basically stop feeding him and everything, just so that he would be able to hunt for his own rodents and stuff. And it's the way they finally, it's so emotional, because they are so attached to one another, but at the same time, that he has to be let go for Harry to succeed in his mission. he has to let go of this ocelot. So it is so good. I would be very surprised if this doesn't get awards, but it's definitely not a laugh a minute. If you're feeling slightly emotionally delicate, I would be very careful going into this, and especially if you're a cat lover as well. It's not all fun and games, but it is extremely emotionally powerful. It is extremely good, and like I said, for trigger warnings, it doesn't shy away from the fact that he does self-harm and everything, and it does show fully his struggles with depression and how his girlfriend deals. His girlfriend as well, Samantha Zwicker, also has a bit of a troubled background, and she talks about her upbringing, how her father was an alcoholic, and how, well, he could be emotionally abusive. She always could see the good in him, and unfortunately he passed away, and then a lot of the way she was looking after her father transferred to how she was kind of looking after Harry as well. So it took an emotional strain on her. So the importance of this just one little ocelot making it and surviving and being hopefully released into the wild is so important to all of them. But it's, very, very good. If you're feeling quite emotionally strong, give it a watch.
Oh, it sounds fascinating. Is that, what did you say it was called? Wildcat?
Wildcat on Amazon.
Is it like TV or just like a movie documentary?
No, it's about 90 minutes, 2 hours long, I think. Just the one and done. But really, really, really good.
Yeah, I'm really into like documentaries more when they're like an hour and a half kind of one. And Netflix has this problem of dragging ones out for like 6 episodes when they don't need to be that. So that sounds
exactly.
That sounds
Doesn't it
perfect.
just?
Yeah, I'll give that a watch, definitely.
I had that problem with the Bad Vegan. It was a 6-episode series that kind of just didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Netflix are terrible for doing shit like that at the minute.
Oh, cool. Right. Biggie, what about you? What have you been doing?
I've got 2. One I want to very briefly talk about, which
Good,
is
'cause we need
Happy
5
Valley.
for the cover up.
So Happy Valley is currently in its 3rd season and actually showing tonight. Its 3rd episode will be out as we record. It's a British crime drama television series set and filmed up your way in the Calder Valley, West Yorkshire.
What's oodles by that?
More oodles then. Starring a fantastic Sarah Lancashire and Siobhan Finneran, sorry. Written and created by Sally Wainwright, directed by her, Euros Lynn and Tim Firewell. First series came out on BBC One back in 2014. Second series was 2016. And everyone's been waiting for a long time for the 3rd season. It won a 2015 BAFTA Award for Best Drama Series. And it features Catherine Kaywood, which is Sarah Lancashire, as a strong-willed police sergeant in West Yorkshire. Some trigger warnings here. She's still coming to terms with the suicide of her teenage daughter, Becky, 8 years earlier. Kaywood is now divorced from her husband and living with her sister, Claire, played by Siobhan Finneran, a recovering alcoholic and heroin addict, who is helping to bring up Becky's young son, Ryan, who's the product of rape. Have you got all that?
Uplifting.
So
things.
it's a pretty grim setup, but the performance by Sarah is it just carries the series. Everybody obviously is good in the show, but she is obviously the main focal point, and the emotional drama that she has to put up with at home, plus that comes within the job, and then you've got the plot of the series as well. It's awesome. It's just, when an actor plays a role and it's kind of like it's created for that sort of person, you just think no one else could play it, and that's kind of what she does with this. And she's amazing in this show. It's so good. So if you haven't seen it, do a catch up on BBC Player and then get up to scratch, because the current season is looking just as good. I've watched the first 2 episodes, but it's awesome. It's so good.
She's
And
actually
very funny as well.
amazing. She's an amazing person in real life as well. Like a lot of what she brings to the role, because I remember her from Coronation Street, and
That's right, yeah.
She'd gone off to do a couple of other things, and then it was when she came back to Corrie, she'd picked up such a quick kind of comedic timing of everything. But she's actually she's a drama teacher as well in one of the universities up north, and she obviously does it just for the love of doing it, because she doesn't need the money, but also I think she's trying to stop people that are in London, or basically people in London having all the advantages and people up north having more advantages into the world of acting and everything. So she's actually super cool.
Yeah, she just plays this character with such warmth and emotion and everything that you need for a role like that. And there's obviously a lot of emotional baggage that she has to deal with in the show, and she just knocks out the park every time. So good, incredible performance, really.
Don't sound very happy.
So yeah, please check that out. No, it's not exactly, and I think it. And believe it or not, the town it has kind of shows people at their lowest. You know, it certainly doesn't hide from the fact there are some issues around those sort of areas, and there's a lot of people. It shows, you know, shut down shops and buildings falling apart. It's got everything that you'd expect from a show like that. It's really, really good.
Cool.
The one thing I did want to talk about is Accident Man. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of this. Accident Man.
That's just me. Is this based on me?
Well, it's a 2018 action thriller directed by Jesse V. Johnson, based on characters created by Pat Mills and Tony Skinner. Now, I first came across this comic book in a comic that was run back in 1991 called Toxic. And it was basically created by Pat Mills because he used to do stuff on 2000 AD. But he wanted to do stuff a bit more outrageous and not sort of stuck in the mold of what 2000 AD was trying to do. So he got other comic book artists and writers to sort of do stuff for Toxic. And he created this character, Mike Fallon, who's an accident man. And he's basically an assassin who takes people out but makes it look like an accident. So, you know, whenever somebody's taken out, the police always assume, oh, it's just an accident. It's not actually paid assassination. And it's really funny, really, really cool. I've always been fond of the comic and always thought it would make a really good TV series or film. And then martial artist Scott Atkins, he did exactly the same thing I did. He bought it from a shop, read it, and kept it all this time, hoping to one day sort of see it himself, and then realised that no one else was going to make it, so he did. And it's really good. It's really funny. Sticks to the material so well. There's a lot of dialogue from the comic is in the movie. A lot of the scenes are basically taken from the comic. And it's fantastic. Great martial arts. It stars Ray Stevenson as well, David Paymer, Michael J. White, Ashley Greene, and Ray Park from the Star Wars movies.
Oh, it's full on, like,
really good.
BT action heroes, that, isn't it?
Yeah, but it does exactly what it's supposed to do, and it's just really entertaining. It's just a no-brainer, easy to watch movie, very funny, great fight scenes in it, and pulls off the story that I've always wanted to see. And there's actually a sequel out now, which I haven't seen yet, but it's on my radar. But yeah, really, really cool, really funny, and a great character, and I hope he does more with this. There's a great scene in this where he talks about how he does his accidents, and there's one where he's got to take a certain character out, and he says he's been waiting days, and it shows you a picture, a scene with him up on the roof, and he's basically got a sniper rifle, but it's filled with air. He's got a compressed bullet inside it that's got glass and stuff, and he's been waiting for the perfect car to come down this road, because this guy basically waits at the bus stop to go to work every day, and then he sits up there waiting for this perfect car to come at the perfect speed, and then he fires the bullet, takes the tire out, the car loses control and smashes in and takes out the person that he's been paid to take out. Looks like an accident. It's perfect. And there's lots of funny stuff like that in there. And then the story progresses when somebody close to him is taken out, and he realises he knows who's done it. And he goes off to work out why his ex was killed. It's so good. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Really good, chilled out movie.
Cool. Right. Gadget, round us off.
So a couple of things. First one, quick. Obviously, most of this week has been me watching Awesome Games Done Quick. It finished today. They raised $2.6 million.
Wow.
Nice.
And in its 12-year history, it's now raised around $43 million for charity in total.
Is it for the same charity every time?
You don't hear about that in the news, do you?
So
exactly.
there's two charities. So the winter one, which is the one that's just been, is Prevent Cancer Foundation. And the summer one is for Doctors Without Borders.
Oh, cool.
This year was particularly notable as well because there was actually a few world records set. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, their co-op Any Percent arcade run was done in 56:18, which is a world record. And Super Mario Galaxy 2, the Any Percent run, done in 2 hours 54.
Nice.
which is wild. And the last run I managed to watch last night was the Dark Souls 2 run, which was absolutely lovely because that was when they hit $2 million. And the guy who was running it, I can't remember his name, so forgive me for that one, but he was talking about when he was doing the run, like, you know, he is a speed runner, but he's not from America. He probably would never be able to get over to America, so being able to do a GDQ online was a huge thing for him. And it was just a really lovely event, very positive, even though it wasn't in person. And yeah, I'm going back through some of the VODs that I still want to watch that I didn't get to see because of, you know, it runs all 24 hours a day. I can't watch them all. But I love it. I love it so much. But the main thing that I want to talk about was, and I mentioned it last week that I started watching it, but we finished it this week. Our Flag Means Death.
Yes.
Which is, for those of you who don't know, it is a pirate comedy, period romantic comedy thing set in the golden age of piracy, the early 18th century. It stars Rhys Darby as, and I didn't know, real person, Steed Bonnet, and Taika Waititi as Captain Blackbeard. So the general run of it is Steed Bonnet, who I've literally just found out was a real person, is known as the Gentleman Pirate. He is a rich Barbadian landowner who gets bored with his boring high society life, has a ship built called the Revenge, and he fucks off to sea as a pirate captain. But he doesn't know anything about being a pirate captain because he's a fop and a dandy. And he has a crew who are loyal to him, in so much that, you know, they don't go raiding things, but he pays them a living wage. And he allows them to express themselves instead of fighting. And they eventually kind of accidentally happen upon the English, who try to kill them. And then Blackbeard gets involved. I kind of don't want to spoil things because there's a lot of really good reveals and really good moments in it, but it is very, very... It's very funny, but very heartwarming as well, because it isn't just a straight comedy. It's not just like gag after gag after gag after gag. There is a lot of funny shit in it, but it is kind of dramatic in places and kind of heartrending. And Rhys Darby as Steed Bonnet is fucking brilliant because he's bringing that kind of foppish charm that Rhys Darby brings to everything.
Yeah,
you know, we'll always remember him in What You Do in the Shadows going, we're not werewolves, we're not swearwolves, we're werewolves, you know? And it's exactly that same tone that he brings as Steed Bonnet. The first time he witnesses someone getting killed, he absolutely freaks out. First time someone shoots at them, he freaks out. He's freaking out constantly throughout the whole thing. But him and Taika Waititi obviously have acted together and have performed together. The two of them together in this are wonderful. They have such a wonderful connection. The kind of the wider cast of other pirates are absolutely balmy. Ewan Bremner as Buttons, the mad helmsman who speaks to seagulls, is utterly fucking hilarious because he stands there. He's got this thick Scottish accent. He's kind of always looking down his nose, looking scared, and he just says the most fucking mental shit. He's like, which direction are we going? He'll stick his tongue out, west. You know, he like tastes the air and knows which direction they're going. I don't want to talk too much about it because I kind of don't want to spoil it, but it is absolutely wonderful, and it's got such a it's just got a wild supporting cast. So like Leslie Joneson, Fred Armisen, Kristen Schaal, Nick Kroll, Will Arnett turns up. Like, there are some really fucking big names in this.
It's got Hodor in.
Yeah, Hodor is one of the main.
Christian Nan.
Yeah, Kristen Nan as wee John Feeney, who was obsessed with fire. He wanted to burn everything.
Yeah. Oh, of course, the big guy is called Wee. Like,
yeah,
as well. Yeah, it's wee John Feeney because he's massive.
Standard.
There's a great gag quite early on, like when Blackbeard first comes aboard the ship, and if you imagine what a galleon looks like. So the sets are kind of outsized, like Steed Bonnet's chambers are enormous. They wouldn't actually fit in that ship. But like Blackbeard's walking around and like looking around, and he's like, "You've got a full library in here," and it's like, "Oh yeah, well, you know, I'll lend the boys the books. Not all of them can read, but they like to look at the pictures." And so, and he says, "You've got is that a real fireplace?" "That it is. You've got a real fireplace that burns coal and wood on a boat that's in the water. Bit dangerous, don't you think?" but it looks nice. And it's like that level of humor. The entire series, the entire run of 10 episodes is on BBC iPlayer at the minute. They're about 25 to 35 minutes each. There's a couple of mascara warnings in there. There's a couple of quite sad moments, but it is, by and large, I think one of the best things that HBO Max has made. I think it is absolutely wonderful. And they should be winning awards all over. The production is wonderful. The acting is wonderful. Costume design is brilliant. Music's fantastic. But Rhys Darby needs recognition because he's now a leading man after this. Rhys Darby's always been kind of like a side character or a background actor, or he's always been in one of his mates' things. And this is like his thing now. He gets to be front and center on this one because it's like you've got the cast and with Taika Waititi. He's the background character this time. Rhys Darby's so good in it.
Yeah, it's definitely on our list to watch. So we want to get through the latest What We Do in the Shadows first, and then watch this as well.
Yeah, it was quite well timed that the both of them came onto the iPlayer at the same time. Yeah, it's very very good, and it's not what you would expect out of a lot of the characters as well. It's quite forward thinking. It's a very 2022 show in the best possible way.
Yeah.
And you've got last one, the cast. You've got Con O'Neill in as Izzy Hands, and Con O'Neill's great because he's got that voice that sounds like he's been shot through the throat, but he's menacing. He's like he's Blackbeard's right hand man, and doesn't like that Steed is kind of softening Blackbeard a bit. And he's always walking around with his jaws clenched. He's wearing his leather outfit because all of Blackbeard's crew wears leather because that's the thing.
Naturally.
He's just walking around croaking at people. So yeah. Seriously, watch Our Flag Means Death. It's one season so far. Second season wrapped filming in December and is out this year. This is a show that I think this can have like 3 or 4 excellent seasons and then be done with it.
Yeah, sounds like it. Awesome. Well, at least the rest of you watched stuff that you liked.
I mean, that entire series I watched was shorter than Avatar.
Probably. Right. Excellent. On to our main topic this week, our main feature. We are going to be looking at our favourite British TV comedies. So we're not putting this down to just sitcoms. This could be game shows or panel shows or anything that's comedic that's on British TV. And I think I'm going to start with Candy for this one.
Oh, I'm glad you went with me first. Actually, the one I've chosen, I touched on it quite briefly last week. And
Spaced.
It's not spaced. Actually, it would have been spaced, but I've talked about space so much. There's just no point. So I'm going to my second favourite, and that's The Fast Show. And
yes.
So if you don't know, do you know what? It's early 90s. It's 30 years ago. There's going to be people listening that have never heard of The Fast Show, and they've probably never seen it because it's not been digitized. So if you can...
30 years ago was the 70s. I don't know what you're talking about.
I know, right? So yeah, it ran from 94 to 97 in its initial run and had a couple of like Christmas specials and spin-offs kind of thing from in the early 2000s, which didn't go particularly well, but the original show was just fantastic. It's created by Paul Whitehouse and Charlie Higson and starred Paul Whitehouse, Charlie Higson, Arabella Weir, John Thompson, Carolina Hearn, Simon Day, and Mark Williams. And it's a sketch show. But what it was sold on, it's called The Fast Show. Every single one of their sketches are basically less than a minute. So it was a 30-minute show. You'd normally get about 30 sketches in it. And I was watching it again today. And it's just such silly, innocent humor. Like, I was watching it in the hope that I wouldn't find anything too problematic. And nothing stood out as particularly bad, especially something from the mid-90s. I think the 90s was a pretty good era for British comedy in terms of sketch shows and things. And I think it was Oodles that said it last week as well. Like Harry Enfield as well had a couple of good ones. And then there was The Fast Show, Trigger Happy TV. Which one?
Big Train.
Big Train, yeah, exactly.
Big Train, yeah.
They're also 90s, but I think looking back in hindsight, when you're living the decade, you don't see anything particularly stand out about it. But looking back, you see all these amazing things that came from that decade. But it's just, like I said, it is such innocent humor. It's maybe not particularly inclusive. That's the worst thing I can say about it, really. But the show's just infinitely quotable. Some of their characters, and I'm just going to scroll through and find a couple now, because some of them are named. There's Unlucky Alf, who was one of my favourites. Poor old geezer, always set off with the right intentions. Something would come along and absolutely ruin his day. Anyone fancy a pint? A man who finds himself in boring or bizarre situations, such as a dinner party where a woman is talking about how she was abandoned as a child and crying about everyone letting her down. White House then interrupts at the most insensitive moment, asking, "Anyone fancy a pint?" Who else have we got? Bob Fleming is another one of my favourites. So Bob Fleming's the guy. He would was it like a gardening show or like a Country File type show that he'd be hosting, but he'd just have this like persistent cough, and then he'd always invite his friends on as well that had some other kind of like audible tics, and he had his friend that would just say "arts" every couple of minutes, and then I can't remember which episode it was on. I think it might have been a Christmas special, but it was 3 or 4 of these characters, and they were all trying to present the show with their various tics, and they had a shotgun, and there was a vase or something they were talking about, and one guy had this tic where he'd throw the vase, the other guy would fire off his shotgun, the next guy would just shout "arse" every couple of minutes, and Bob Fleming would just be there coughing his guts up the entire time. Swiss Tony as well, the car dealer.
Love Swiss Tony.
Swiss Tony.
I
Didn't have the. Go on.
I was going to say I had to go and look up some of his quotes, because there's one of his quotes, the Swiss Tony quotes, is absolutely gets me every single time, and I've just found it. Because obviously his whole thing was everything can be comparable to making love to a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
Because he is that kind of used car salesman. But it was it's just this one. Well, hanging wallpaper is also very much like making love to a beautiful woman. Clean all the relevant surfaces, spread her out on the table, cover her with paste, then stick her up. then you clean your brush, light your pipe, stand back and admire your handiwork. It's so wrong. But I think he was one of the most frequent characters, because there's like 15 sketches with him in it.
He actually was one of the few characters that had a spin-off show as well.
Which was
It was
shite.
the farmer as well. That was the one with the farmer, wasn't it? With the sort of the love between the farmer.
Caretaker.
Ted Ralph.
Yeah.
I loved that bit, because it was just this kind of a relationship that they had. It just went on for so long, and you're always waiting
So
for him to
awkward.
actually just. Oh, it's brilliant. So good.
I think they actually did get together in the end. I think it was during a Christmas special. I think they finally did fall in love.
But also the nice thing about Ted and Ralph as well, it was never played for laughs that they were in love with each other. They were played for laughs at the awkward situations, because they couldn't say it.
Yeah, that's right.
And that, like, for something in the 90s, you wouldn't see that normally, would you?
No, exactly.
The drunk as well.
The drunk as well. Very, very drunk. Yeah. Old guy sitting in his armchair. And we've all met these guys at the pubs as well. You cannot understand a word apart from maybe every third or fourth sentence. And of course, it would always end in, "Of course, I was very, very drunk."
Yeah, if you've seen the fascia, like, who hasn't ever just done that quote?
Yeah.
Or just all the whole this week I have mostly been doing this, and like every week it'd be like, right, what's he coming up with this week? What's he been doing?
Suits You, Sir, as well. The two pervy old guys in the what would you call it? Haberdashery?
It's a tailors.
Tailors, yeah. Everything would end up in Suits You, Sir. Again, like, all kind of just cheeky humour. What else have we got here? Scorchio as well. The Spanish news network.
Yeah, that still gets quoted these days, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, but no one ever remembers the Chris Waddle.
Chris Waddle.
For some reason, Chris Waddle was involved all the time.
And the match of the day one as well, jumpers for goalposts.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah,
I think it's still one of the best sketch shows that came out of the UK, to be honest.
I think you'd be surprised as well. Like, looking back, it hasn't lost anything over time as well. Like, all these things are still infinite. I think there's probably people quoting these things without realizing what they're quoting, because they've probably never seen it. And for whatever reason, I don't know why it's never been digitized, because it was a BBC Two thing. So they do tend to put things on iPlayer, at least.
Was Fascio the one with Dave Angel, Eco Warrior?
I think so.
Yeah, where he's
I think so, yeah,
where he sat there talking about like how the planet is dying, and his wife's in the background like spraying loads of hairspray around her head or something.
Yeah.
I've referred to Sting as competitive dad as well.
Oh yeah. Now, who bought the best Christmas presents?
Oh God, yeah, I remember that one. Oh Jesus.
Cheesy peas as well. But yeah, I could just go on and on. I've got a list of all the characters here, and all of them are memorable. But yeah, it is a crime against TV that it hasn't been digitized, because I would love to see it. It looks complete, like the actual like physical look of it. If you watch it on YouTube, it does look shite, but try and see past that if you go to look it up.
Yeah, man, I love a good sketch show. I really wish we got more of them, but I just don't think they'd be as good these days.
There's
I know
not
we
as
talked
many,
about it last
like-
week, where TikTok and YouTube's really where you go to get them these days.
Yeah, and they don't tend to be on primetime TV either, like they used to. Like you might have to kind of bury the depths of BBC Four or something or Sky Arts or something maybe.
Yeah, I remember Harry Enfield was like a weekly thing to make sure I watched it.
Yeah.
But,
Or, or even to the point where, like, sketch shows generated films. Like you got the Kevin and Perry film.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Like from one of the. I mean, the Kevin and Perry sketches were funny on Harry Enfield, but they were far from his best work.
no, they're just easy
Yeah.
targets, where they're like easy to kind of laugh at and kind of relate in certain aspects, I guess, the way teenagers can be. Not one for me when I was younger, but like now you can see how kids are.
Yeah. I think that's the thing with the Fast Show as well. All these characters, they are just character studies of people they are also relatable. You know these people.
Oh yeah, I bet even when they all sat down and wrote stuff, going like, I know this guy who does this, I know this person who does that. Because what can we do? What can we make funny about that? And I bet they all kind of knew these people and just said, right, we could make something good out of this.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, Fast Show's a great one. Fast Show, sketch shows. Definitely get on YouTube and watch some of them. I'll go next. So again, with this, I tried to not think of something that we've talked about before, or that's an old classic, because they are great, and for that reason. So I've decided to look for something a bit newer in the last 10 years. And one that I've really enjoyed, well, I would have mentioned Derry Girls, but I've already reviewed that before, so it would have been Derry Girls, because that's incredible.
Derry Girls is excellent.
Yeah, but I'm gonna bring Toast of London to this.
My backup option, that one. I love Toast of London.
Toast of London is a 2012 show starring Matt Berry as Stephen Toast, who is a thespian actor. Eccentric middle-aged man living in London, who has and we kind of see his problems that he deals with on and off the stage. And it's Matt Berry being full Matt Berry, basically. The best Matt Berry you could get, with the pronunciations of letters and words, and him just hamming it up big time. And it's so weird and surreal that the first episode you watch starts out relatively normal. So this is just like the pilot episode. The first episode is he's doing a play. He's talking to his agent, who is called what's his agent called? Jane Plow, but she wants people to call her Jane Pluff, like Brian Clough.
Yeah.
Everyone in this show has really stupid, weird names. Like they just Ray Purchase and Danny Bear.
No, get it right. Ray Bloody Purchase.
Yeah, Ray Bloody Purchase. Mrs. Purchase. And everyone just seems to have like an odd name, don't they? Like it doesn't really seem like it should be odd, but they are, like Clem Fandango.
I would say like Clem Fandango.
Yeah.
Or Danny Bear.
Danny Bear, Axel Jacqueline, Cliff Bonanza. Some of them just sound normal, but they just, the way that he says it isn't. It's just the way that obviously that Matt Berry says them. They're just funny. Anyway, yeah. So so the first episode, he gets told he has to go meet this reporter, and so he goes to lunch with this reporter, and they hit it off, and they actually become like, she actually takes an interest in him, like romantically. So they go on this walk, and everything seems normal. The episode is perfectly normal to this point until they're crossing a bridge, and all of a sudden she says, "Hang on a second," and she picks up a trolley and just throws it into the water. And she just goes, "One thing you should know about me is I'm the kind of person who likes to throw trolleys into streams." Like, out of nowhere. Like, that's the kind of humor and the surreal humor you get. And after that, it just goes completely fucking weird. The payoff to there's a Bruce Forsyth joke in this.
Oh god, that was surreal. Yeah,
fucking incredible. The payoff to it is amazing. I don't want to spoil it. I think people should watch it, but
I haven't seen that.
He's talking to his flatmate. He's, "Oh, I've got so and so coming round." He goes, "But don't make light of the fact that she looks like Bruce Forsyth. She had a bit of work done, and she now looks like Bruce Forsyth." And it's like, apart from a hand, so her hand is still black, and the stomach looks like Bruce Forsyth.
Yeah, but it's not just that because it's like the next morning, someone who was a Bruce Forsyth lookalike with a brown coloured hand now is wearing like a negligee sitting at the dining table. It's so fucking weird and creepy, and it's so funny.
Fuck it. Go and look it up. I'll show you the picture with you. But that's what you're getting with this show. It just, everything is so weird and surreal at times, and it's like an episode where he loses a bet to what's his name, the Phantom of the Opera guy, Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Yeah.
And he owes him loads of money, so Andrew Lloyd Webber sends Michael Ball after him. So he's trying to get away while Michael Ball is trying to assassinate him. Oh, it's just, honestly, it's just so, I just wanted to find something that from the last several years that was so different to anything else. And I think Matt Berry is just, he's gone from strength to strength. I first saw him in the IT Crowd, which is excellent as well. And then I think he's done this, and then moved on to What We Do in the Shadows, and I think he's just got better and better as well.
He's managed to carve out a career of being the weird Englishman.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I saw it.
Because you know, see his like guest spot on Community, where he gets to do exactly the same thing, just doing the Matt Berry voice.
Oh yeah, I mean,
people.
he has just kind of like developed this Matt Berry voice and character, and it's kind of the same thing throughout, but it works. It seems to work across a plethora of different things, even though it's like him doing the loud pronunciations and the weird accents on words and stuff. But I think it's just brilliant. But yeah, this is just rude and crude in parts. Like, there is literally, like, he's always shagging Ray Purchase's wife.
Yeah. Like,
constantly. Like, there's Ray Purchase and like Mrs. Purchase and Stephen Toast have an affair. But it's just not, it's just so obvious. Like, he comes home one time and she's like, "Quick, hide in the wardrobe." It's like, "What wardrobe?" It's like, "That one there." And it's just a wardrobe in the middle of the room. It's not like against the room. It's not against anything. It's in the middle of the room. And then Ray Purchase comes in and he knocks the wardrobe, and it all falls down like perfectly. Like, each wall of the wardrobe falls down perfectly. And the timing and the way it's done is just brilliant.
It's notable because he's a stage actor. All of the indoor scenes are set up like you would see a stage show.
Yeah,
everything is positioned and set up like that, so everyone moves around like they're in a stage show. But my favorite scenes are always the ones where he's at the recording studio doing the dubbing or voiceovers. Like the one of the early episodes, he's doing the new "Mind the Gap" for the Tube, and it's just constant notes. It's like, it could just be a bit less alarming about it. Could just be a bit more energy about it. Just mind the gap, and stuff like that.
It's like, mind the gap. And like, can you put a bit of a longer thing in there? And he's like, "Who's that in there with you?" And it's just like, "Oh, it's Boris Johnson, the Mayor of London." It's just there in the recording booth. And
the funniest one is where him and Ray Bloody Purchase, who again at each other's throats, and also Ray Purchase is a virulent homophobe. Like, they're horrible. They have to do the English dub for a gay porn movie.
Yeah, they do.
And they're in the studio, sat opposite each other with the script, just like making sex noises. It's painfully funny to watch.
Yeah. It's like, "Now you, like, Ray, just do the kissing by yourself," and then she's like, "You," and then they're like kissing the microphone and making these horrible slurping noises. And but them two, they're like enemies, aren't they? Like, throughout the whole thing.
Yeah,
they're meant to look. They look like each other as well. They're like, the hair and the mustache and everything is like, they're kind of made to look like each other, and it's just, Yeah, it's just really funny. I really enjoy it. This Toast of Tinseltown came out last year, which I haven't caught up with yet.
I haven't seen that yet. I need to watch that.
Yeah, so I'm taking it that it sounds as though he went to Hollywood.
Yeah, I was looking at the cast list for that. There's some pretty big people in it as well. Because you get Fred Armisen and Rashida Jones are in it.
Yeah, he's got quite a lot of. There's quite a good few cameos from famous people in Toast of London as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also like one of the recurring jokes I really like as well is, even though he's meant to be in the world of acting and professional acting, every time an actor, like a really famous, well-known actor is mentioned, he's like, who? Like, he has no clue. Like, the guy has no clue about the business whatsoever, about who's famous, what's going on. Like, he's always just performing in really shit plays.
or the play they won't name. It's so bad. They won't even say its name out loud.
Yeah. So, yeah, Toast of London, you should check it out. It's, unfortunately, for whatever reason, it's not on iPlayer. It's not on All 4, which I think where it might have been originally.
I watched it on Netflix.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I think it's on there.
Is it on Netflix now?
Yeah, it was broadcast on Channel 4 originally, but yeah, it's on Netflix now, I think.
I don't think it is. I think the only place I could see was Amazon.
It was definitely there at one point. I remember seeing the title for it there. It may have come off, but it was definitely one of the streaming platforms.
Oh, yeah, so yes, it's not on Netflix anymore.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's you'd have to, if you want to watch it, you'd have to watch it on Amazon or other means. Yeah, for me, Toast of London. I'm going to get onto Toast of Tinseltown soon, so I want to carry on with Toast's journey. Right, Biggie, what about you?
I again wanted to pick something that I haven't spoken about before. It's one of my favourites. It's Extras, the TV series from Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, I loved Extras.
I was a massive fan of this. It only ran for 2 seasons, but I just thought the overall joke of it was fantastic. And the fact that Ricky Gervais kind of plays a straight character in this, it's about everybody else around him. His best mate, Ashley Jensen, who's also an extra trying to get work in movies, TV, etc. She generally has all the better lines, but it was written by Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant, who also appears in it as his manager. And it just follows Ricky's character, Andy Millman, just trying to get into anything he can, get better lines, better deals, and the characters that he has on the actual stars are just perfect. Some of the choices, you got Patrick Stewart, who's amazing in his, just playing on either their reputation, or Ben Stiller again as a director, fantastic episode. And it was the guest that made it. And I was just looking through on Wikipedia, and I didn't realise there's quite a few people who didn't want to appear on it for reasons either dropped out. Jude Law, Leonardo DiCaprio. Also had, I think, Tom Cruise, Madonna, Brad Pitt, all turned down parts eventually.
Do you know what? I reckon all of them, if you did that show now, would do it. I think they were at a point in their career where they didn't want to look stupid and embarrass themselves.
Yeah.
And that's what the celebrities who went on there had to do. They had to be, everyone was the opposite of themselves, weren't they?
Well, apart from
I mean, Les Dennis.
Yeah, apart from Johnny Depp.
Yeah. Les Dennis was brilliant on there. Keith Chegwin as well. There's a fantastic outtake. If you haven't seen it, go onto YouTube and check out the outtake for one of the scenes with Keith Chegwin. And they're sitting there, and all he's basically trying to get to do is Keith Chegwin plays this kind of really a bit of it like a sex pest character of himself, and he's trying to talk to Andy Millman's character, and he's basically trying to say to Ricky about, you get the cock and you put it in the fanny. And that is basically all he has to say, and Ricky just corpses every single time for the most incredible amount of outtakes. He cannot cope with Keith Chegwin saying cock and fanny in his face, and it is incredible.
Another good one is when he said Patrick Stewart, and that just makes me think of another outtake, and it's Patrick Stewart talking about how he'd been having sex with this woman, and I think he was talking about pushing her knickers to the side or something, and they cannot get through this line at all, because he plays it so straight as well, in perfect Patrick Stewart tones.
Oh yeah, the whole
knickers to the side.
I've already seen it. and then all of her clothes fall off. Like like I say, he's not playing it for laughs. He's playing it so straight. He's not being silly. The character, anyway, is not being silly in the show. He's being deadly serious about like, oh, we've got this film, and then all of her clothes fall off.
But it's just brilliant. It's just really heartwarming. There's some sort of nice sort of storyline going through it as well, and he's kind of horrible to his best friend actually, and it's a nice relationship in the end. And I just really enjoyed it. It was just something different when he came off The Office. It was a kind of different scenario, and it still had that awkward comedy that Gervais is famous for. But
that was the first thing he did after The Office.
Skew on it. He did,
yeah.
And I loved it. I just thought it was really funny.
Yeah.
And just to get these people who weren't afraid to poke fun at themselves or just play these really weird, abstract versions of themselves. And people are up for it. David Bowie makes an appearance and absolutely demolishes Andy Millman in the pub scene where they're singing. It's just, really, really funny. And it doesn't get spoken about as much as The Office, and I'm surprised because I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, I really liked Extras. One of my favorite parts of Extras is the fact that Barry from EastEnders is Stephen Merchant's assistant, but it's not
playing himself.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like he's not playing a different character. He's actually playing himself. What's his name? Can't remember what his name is now. Barry from EastEnders.
Sean Williamson.
Yes, Sean Williamson. Yeah, but it's the fact that everyone calls him Barry as well. Like, it's an episode where he's just like, I think Dean Gaffney turns up as well, like as he's like his assistant. Like, and there's just like this one episode where they just get really fucking obsessed with one of those nudie pens where you turn it upside down.
Mm.
But it's just Sean Williamson. Just I love the fact that he really does just get the piss taken out of him, and he's well up for it. Like, because he's just, they call him Barry from EastEnders rather than his actual name.
Oh, and Kate Winslet was incredible in it as well.
Yeah,
she was so funny. I
think all of them are. Like, I really liked all the celebrities that they got to do the parts. I thought it was really good. I think I aren't too sure about the special where he kind of got his dream, didn't he? And then he ended up on Big Brother, and he gave like I kind of get the idea behind it, and like the big speech he gives and stuff like that. It's kind of typical of what Gervais does in his TV shows. Does it in like Derek and probably I've seen from Afterlife is the same, but I don't know. I just thought Extras' strength was on just those episodes where you just had a celebrity coming in and just comedy, ensues really. But yeah, he does like to put a message in, doesn't he? So.
He does. But yeah, please check it out if you haven't seen it. It's incredible.
That should be on iPlayer, isn't it? Possibly.
Must be.
I know some old stuff they tend to just knock off for no reason, but it'll be on there or somewhere. It might be on Netflix or iPlayer or BritBox. One of those. Who has BritBox?
I don't know. I've seen it advertised, and I don't know a single person who's ever accessed it.
Yeah, who the fuck has BritBox?
Again, possibly money laundering.
Yeah, it would be perfect for these shows that we're talking about, probably.
I signed up for it briefly when it first came out because I wanted to see the new Spitting Image, but it wasn't all that, so I cancelled as soon as I could.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was never going to be as good as the original.
No,
it wasn't.
No political satire is. You can't really do it these days, can you?
Don't need to.
But I've got
exactly
plenty of honourable mentions for later.
Yeah. All right, Gadget, what about you?
I'm going for an oldie but a goldie, one of my favourite TV shows of all time. I'm going with Red Dwarf.
Oh, yes.
Because Red Dwarf means a lot to me because it was one of the few kind of grown-up things that my parents allowed me to watch as a kid.
Same.
But it's what sparked my love of sci-fi. It's the kind of the first proper sci-fi thing I saw as a kid. So Red Dwarf.
Wow.
Well, I mean, it started airing in the late 80s, and I started watching it.
No, I was just saying, it's a great intro for that.
Yeah,
just,
it is.
The comedy in that.
So it's a science fiction sitcom based upon the eponymous Red Dwarf, an interplanetary mining vessel. Who it focuses around Dave Lister, the last human alive, because he is put in suspended animation for being a bit of a shitebag, and in the process, his bunkmate Arnold Rimmer, who is a technician aboard the ship, fucks up the drive plate and causes a nuclear accident, and the ship's AI speeds the ship 3 million years out of the solar system to save lives. So Lister is brought back around out of suspended animation after 3 million years when everything's safe, and then has to live with the hologrammatic recreation of his former bunkmate, an AI that's gone a little bit squiffy after 3 million years alone, and a creature that evolved from Lister's cat. And it's as good as it sounds. Generally, it's one of those. It's a reasonably timeless show actually for a sitcom, because most sitcoms revolve around kind of knowledge of kind of current culture. Like there's a lot of cultural jokes in a lot of sitcoms, and there is some of them in Red Dwarf, but by and large, it stands on its own. The first two series were one of those famously cheap BBC shows. You can see the sets wobbling as they wander around. Everything's made of plywood and painted the same colour.
I mean, that it's Crichton makes an appearance in one of the episodes in that, doesn't he?
He does in season 2, yeah.
Yeah, he looks terrible.
He does, but it's also a different actor as well.
I know, but he just looks so shit compared to what they actually end up with.
So the show stars Chris Barry as Rimmer, Craig Charles as Lister, Danny John Jules as the cat, and Norman Lovett as Holly, the ship's AI. And then in the third series, you get Robert Llewellyn joins as Crichton as a full-time cast member. And then series 7, you get Chloe Annette, who joins to replace Chris Barry. And she joins as Lister's long-term love interest, Christine Kachansky, who's been dead for 3 million years. And they do a little bit of timey-wimey, wibbly, dimension-y stuff on that. I've got to say, most of it's utter bollocks, but in the best possible way. Lister is the worst person to be the last human alive. He is a slob. He is lazy. He exists to smoke, drink, and eat curry. That's about all he wants. The cat, played by Danny John Jules, is a cat. He dresses sharp. He sleeps 18 hours a day. He scents all the way across Red Dwarf. But because he's humanoid, he wanders around. He's got a little scent spray full of urine. He goes,
That's mine.
This is mine. Oh, this is mine.
Yeah.
Loves his shiny things. Loves his strings. One of my favorite sequences involving the cat is from series 2. And the cat goes up to the vending machine, the robotic vending machine. And he just goes, fish! Today's fish is trout a la carte. Fish! And he just goes on like this till he's got like 8 pallets of fish. He says, enjoy your meal. I will. Wanders off. And it's full of quite gentle humour. It can be a little bit rude, but it's generally quite gentle, reasonably laddish humour. It's not particularly sexist or homophobic in any way like that. It doesn't have much that I would say is problematic. But as the show goes on, and it expands from the kind of the concept of the first 2 seasons, things get really, really good science fiction as it goes on. In series 3, there is an entire episode where they go through a dimensional rift and they come to a version of Earth that is running backwards. They meet 871 Selim. It's Dutch for London. I think that's what they say. In series 4, they meet an alternative version of Rimmer, Ace Rimmer, who is the big hero, and everybody loves him, and Rimmer is naturally incredibly jealous of that. Also in series 4, there's
won't be a kipper. I'll be back for breakfast.
Exactly, yeah. Series 4 has actually my favourite episode of the whole run of the show, which is called White Hole, where kind of time starts. It gets a bit temporal in time, and the universe started to get a bit fucky because the idea of a black hole sucks stuff out of the universe. A white hole deposits it back in, so the entire universe gets weird and like time starts looping. And it's really well constructed science fiction. You get one of the greatest ones. It's actually one that won an International Emmy Awards, which was Gunmen of the Apocalypse from Series 6, where they've got their virtual reality game, and Crichton gets stuck in it because of plot reasons. And so they're in this virtual reality as the Wild West.
Remember it now.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. It kind of went off. It fell off a little bit of a cliff towards the end. Like season 7 was not that good. Series 8 was all right. I didn't really watch the ones when they resurrected on Dave. I watched Back to Earth, which was like a 3-part special, and I hated it. I hated every second of it.
Yeah,
because I was the one
I haven't watched any of that.
Well, it had a good idea. I like the idea, but I just the execution was a bit, and all it ended up being was just a play on something they'd already done.
It was a retread of the Despair Squid episode from series 5.
It was just that, and it had a bit of a they kind of did a Blade Runner thing with it, didn't they? Like,
they did a Blade Runner. They did the Blade Runner killing. They did because at the time Craig Charles was also in Coronation Street, so they went to Coronation Street in it. I thought, oh come on,
I remember
man.
that.
That's weak. But apparently, so that was like, that's technically series 9. Apparently 10, 11, and 12 are really good, but I just haven't watched them.
There's 13.
Well, the 13th is like a movie.
Yeah. I want to watch them. I do want to watch them because I do have them. I'm just like, I want to just see it off. Like, I loved Red Dwarf so much. I was just looking at the series here and that. Actually, it ended originally on my birthday.
Did it?
On my 13th birthday was the end of season 8, where it ended, and you didn't know if it had ended. As a fan, you were like, "Oh, well, that's clearly set up for a next series."
Never got it. Nothing happened for a long time.
Nothing happened.
Because that was 1999. Then they brought it back in 2009 for Back to Earth.
Yeah. I do love Red Dwarf. It's one of those ones as well. You can just pop in and out. You don't even need to watch it in any order. You could just, there's an episode on, I'm just going to watch that. It's one of those kind of shows.
Yeah, and like I said, there are some absolutely classic episodes, especially kind of earlier in the run. Polymorph, which I hadn't at the time. I hadn't seen. That was ripping off Alien. But obviously I was too young to have seen Alien at the time. But I was like, the first one kind of scary thing I'd ever watch. It's in this fucking comedy program. It's mental.
Yeah.
But then when you go back and watch that, having seen Alien, like, I see what you're doing. Each of the series also had a really different feel. Like series 5 is like really dark. There's a lot of kind of really kind of fucked up shit in that one. There's an episode where it's called Angels and Demons, where they're kind of experimenting with the idea of making a replicator, because they take a lot of Star Trek concepts and really take the piss out of it. So the idea of a food replicator, and what it does is it'll replicate like the strawberry. It'll give you one is the greatest, most beautiful strawberry you'll ever eat, and the other one's full of maggots. It like gives you the best and worst version of it, and they accidentally invert the calibration or something like that, and they end up doing the whole thing for Red Dwarf. So you get one which is full of like angelic versions of them all, and like a pot noodle that tastes nice because Lister hates pot noodles, and then you get one where they're in fetish wear and they're torturing each other and shit like that, and like hitting each other with whips. It's fucked up. It's so weird, but it's so funny. And there's some which are really kind of nice. Which there's one, Waiting for God, which goes into like the idea of the cats had a religion and worshipped Cloyster the creator, or Lister, because they were all spawned from his cat. And you get quite nice moments and quite human moments throughout it. And I could go on for ages about Red Dwarf. I just absolutely love it.
Yeah.
It's just the silly stuff as well. I remember there's a scene where they're under attack and the ship's being blasted. And at one point they say, well, we've got to go up a level to DEFCON 3 or something.
No.
It turns around.
We've got to change from blue alert to red alert. Are you sure, sir? That would involve changing the bulb.
Yeah.
Yeah, because those jokes just come out of nowhere and hit you in the face because they're so well delivered, and especially when it's like a Crichton and Rimmer thing, because Robert Llewellyn plays Crichton absolutely deadpan.
Oh yeah, I think Crichton's my favourite just because of the delivery.
Yeah, there's an episode of series 5 where Crichton becomes human, and he's struggling to adjust to it, and he's explaining, it's like Lister, like it's all these different human emotions. Like something happened with it. Something happened, and he like shows him a Polaroid. He says, "What is this?" Well, I was looking at a catalog of vacuum cleaners, and he showed the 2 Polaroids. He's obviously taken a dick pic. He's like, "No, vacuum cleaner should not give a human man a double Polaroid." It's all the episodes are on the UK TV player. I think you can watch them pretty much for free in the UK. They've also all been released on DVD and Blu-ray. They are absolutely worth watching, especially series 1 to 8. And make sure you watch the first episode of season 7, where they inadvertently go back in time and Crichton becomes the person on the grassy knoll that kills JFK. Because why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the level we're talking about.
I mean, I know it's an easy one to go to, but Despair Squid and Dwayne Dibley. Like, just
Oh yeah.
I'll always love that. Like, it's just Cat comes out this what they think is like a virtual reality thing, and he's like the most just uncool person ever with the most uncool name, buck teeth, and
Yeah.
he's just so uncat, isn't he? Brilliant.
He's just going, and I'm Dwayne Dibley.
Yeah,
A man with teeth the druids could use as a place of worship.
but I just like that. They're all talking about something and they're trying to figure out what's going on. It just cuts back to him and he's just like, Dwayne Dibley? It's like he just can't get his head around it.
Yeah, because Lister's like a rich businessman who turns out he's a fascist or something like that. But again, when you get into the story of what the Despair Squid is and how and what the episode is based around, it's so clever. And like when you get the reveal in it, it's so funny. And that's what I mean. It just is such good. It gets to become such good sci-fi that you almost forget that it is a comedy at some points until they do something that makes you laugh, and then it's something that I think there's been a lot of attempts at sci-fi comedy because they did that Hyperdrive with Nick Frost in, which was poor, and I never really got on with the Orville, but apparently that became quite good.
Yeah, I started it. I need to carry on with it, but I did enjoy the first few episodes I watched, so I'm going to carry on.
But there's been attempts at sci-fi comedy, and I don't think anyone's really got it as right as Red Dwarf has got it.
No, Red Dwarf is just spot on. Really, really good. Right, well, they are excellent all around from everyone. What have our listeners been saying, Gadget?
So Lee Davies has said there's so much to choose from. I can't really pick one, so I'll just say Rick Mail. Fucking love that guy.
There you go.
He's in so much great stuff, from the young ones to Bottom to Blackadder. I mean, he guessed in Blackadder, and it's still the best episode. Then there's the majesty of his reading of George's Marvelous Medicine on Jackanory. Truly the best reading of a book there has ever been. Rest in peace, Rick, the people's poet. I mean, Rick Mail was just transcendentally funny.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So good.
Big loss.
So good.
Mike Halstead has said the IT crowd is amazing, and the best season of Taskmaster was season 7. I remember who was on season 7 of Taskmaster.
I'm going to look it up while you read the rest.
Okay.
Was that not the one we said was rubbish last week?
No, season 12 was a bit shit.
Oh, we're into like the teens now.
Yeah. He goes on to say, and more recently, the new episodes of Nevermind the Buzzcocks have me sore from laughing. They are very good, with Greg Davies hosting it.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
And oh shit, I can never remember her name, but that woman who was in our town there from the West Country.
Daisy May Cooper.
Yeah. She knows fucking nothing, but she's just howling laughing, and her laugh is hysterical. So
season 7 was James Acaster, Jessica Knappett, Kerry Godliman, Phil Wang, and Rod Gilbert. That was a very good series.
That was a very good series. It's mostly whenever James Acaster's involved in anything because he hates everything.
Yeah. Just the hula hoop bit was brilliant. The Jessica Knappett falling off the stage to the point that bit's now called, they call it the Nappet.
I'd noticed that, yeah. Kylie Wilde has said, Bottom, because the greatest TV comedy ever written and performed. Being American, I didn't discover it until well after its heyday and only watched it because of my childhood crush on Drop Dead Fred. But so glad I did. I mean, Bottom is great.
I wasn't allowed to watch it when I was younger.
I mean, probably quite rightly.
I don't know why when I was younger I didn't get
well.
into Bottom, but I kind of loved other stuff. I loved like the young ones and everything like that, but it was in both.
I think Bottom seemed sadder, didn't it? Whereas in like the young ones, they were chaotic and like anarchic teenagers. Bottom, they were like sad middle-aged men shouting at each other. But it is so funny, and I love the live shows just when they fuck it up and start corpsing. Like, there's one where like Adrian Edmondson is like being over the top about something, and the crowd's going wild for him, and like he's like standing there holding onto a pole, like smiling and taking it all in. And Rick Mail's like fuming.
Yeah, the one I think I shared.
You're waiting for all your friends to finish.
where Rick Mail like forgotten his line, so they he's fucked. Like the crowd got let him on it. It just sits there back in his like in the deck chair. I think he's on like a beach chair or something like that. Just sits back and he's just like taking the absolute piss out of him because he can't remember his line. Yeah, I like it a lot more as an adult when I see clips and stuff of it. Yeah.
Tig has said it has to be Alan Partridge. Aha. I never got on with Alan Partridge. I don't know why. I just didn't get the humor of it.
Oh, I love it.
Well,
especially the series in the Travel Tavern is just insane. It's brilliant.
I think possibly it didn't help that when that I'm Alan Partridge series came out. I remember there was so many people in my school just shouting Dan all the time. Give me fucking head in.
It's funny.
I'll probably enjoy it now if I watched it, but it's like at the time I didn't enjoy it.
Oh, you should.
Xenos has said QI has to count, right? Yeah,
Yep.
I would say QI counts. Would I Lie to You is great too. I would agree, especially any episode with Bob Mortimer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because his stories are fucking wild, and you have no way of telling if it's a truth or a lie.
No. I do love David Mitchell just like trying to figure someone's lie out. Like he's just the way he's able to try and break everything down and like the rants he'll go into is
There's that famous episode, the one with the Scottish comedian, I've forgotten his name, and he's trying to tell the story about renting a horse that he actually ended up buying. And he goes into such detail in this story that everybody just can't believe this story. But there's just that, the element of, could it be true?
Yeah.
And he goes on forever and everyone's losing it. And then it turns out it was true. It was great.
He goes on to say, and I already miss Mock the Week. I think Mock the Week kind of died a death by the end, but it was very good in the early days.
Yeah. I think I stopped watching it when I just stopped watching normal TV, but I did enjoy it.
Yeah. He says, I think my favourite of the current range of TV shows has to be Taskmaster, though it's just fucking hilarious, and the level of nonsense they come up with that show and how everyone responds to it. Yeah, absolutely. Taskmaster's brilliant. Yep. And then he goes on to say, while it's not strictly TV, I'd also like to mention the Technical Difficulties group on YouTube, who've had a longer run than some TV shows between their panel show format Citation Needed, the more game showy Two of These People Are Lying, and the older Reverse Trivia podcast, and their current Technical Difficulties adventures. Technical Difficulties are very good. Citation Needed is excellent. It's basically, it's Sorry I Haven't a Clue, effectively. But it's fucking brilliant. And it's Tom Scott's the host of it as well. The Citation Needed, basically, Tom Scott finds an article on Wikipedia, and they have to guess what it is.
I've never seen it.
It's worth looking up. I'll share some good episodes. Sergeant Story said, feedback for tonight, a bit of Fry and Laurie.
Yep.
Monty Python's Flying Circus.
Oh, yes.
Black Books. Spaced, Red Dwarf, and Little Britain.
He's American. It's fine. You can. He's allowed to like it. I liked Little Britain when it first came out. Now I look back at it, I'm like,
I did too.
Yikes! But, when it first came out, I was into it. I did enjoy it.
I did too.
I think Little Britain was the death of the sketch show, wasn't it? Because it relied too much on catchphrase comedy.
You could be right there, yeah.
Yeah,
we haven't had much since, have we?
I think what you had after that was Catherine Tate show, which was also wank. And then they did Come Fly With Me, which is, when you look back at it now, it's
even worse.
It's funny though.
So racist.
No, it wasn't.
So
How
racist.
they got away with that is beyond me.
I tell you what, though, there is a sketch on that about one of the guy who drives one of the luggage buggies.
The Pussy Wagon.
And he's like, what's your favourite film? He's like, my favourite film's Avatar 2. It's not out yet, but I know when it's going to come out, it's going to be the best film ever. And then when Avatar 2 came out, Matt Lucas did like say, I know someone who works at like Heathrow is going to be very happy or something like that.
Oh, God.
I thought it was quite a nice tweet, funny tweet, but yeah, that show is just yikes.
Our currently upon his bed Oodles has said, hello, fellow colleagues and listeners. First, let me apologise for my absence this week. I only gone and lost my bloody voice. Some will call that a blessing. His words, not mine. British comedy-based TV shows have probably the biggest variety of options over most countries. I read that on the internet. However, my relationship with TV shows has waned over the years, but there are a few personal highlights. Panel shows such as Nevermind the Buzzcocks and Shooting Stars were always a favourite in my house, and to this day we have a rich culture of progressive /education and irreverent comedy panel shows. Yeah, we haven't said Shooting Stars. That was weird and amazing.
I love Shooting Stars.
You got to bring down the dove from above.
I had no idea what
Every
was
time.
going on when I was watching it as a kid.
I don't think they did.
No, but I enjoyed it all the same.
I think Vic and Bob were just popping pills and seeing what happened.
Probably, yeah.
Classic 70s or 80s sitcoms were a mainstay too, like Only Fools and Horses, Faulty Towers, and Open All Hours were huge to me. Starting in the early 2000s, hidden camera or public bashing shows were always a treat to me, like Trigger Happy TV, Phone / Face Jacker, and Balls of Steel were stellar cringeworthy shows. Now, actually, Balls of Steel I'd never heard of. I was talking with my gym trainer about it this morning, and he actually brought up on his iPad this guy on that who would just like it was called Urban Rodeo, and he would like jump onto people's backs and see how long he could stay on. I'm thinking, if that happened today, that would be an assault.
He would definitely get stabbed.
Yeah, Balls of Steel, I remember that. That was all before the it's a prank, brah. It's a prank, brah. Every time you see something like that, like, everyone's like, it's just a prank.
One of my favourites in there, Trigger Happy, was when he was the traffic warden, and there'd be like gridlock traffic, and the guy would be stuck in the traffic. He'd go up and give him a ticket, and it'd be like, you can't park there, mate. And you could just hear the driver kicking off, like, what are you talking about? I'm just stationary,
Didn't he also do with the traffic, like a lollipop lady, and he'd hold the traffic up for a man like going across in a
slug.
A slug, yeah, or a snail going really slow across the road.
Phone Jack always used to make me giggle. I just love Terry Tibbs. He was just the wheeler dealer kind of cotton guy, just who loves your baby. Just that always made me giggle. And I didn't realize until recently it's Kayvan Novak who's in What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
So he also says, lastly, the undisputed genre of British comedy has to be the sketch show. Bite-sized comedy morsels of offensively hilarious and systematically genius comedy gold with recurring characters, from the fast show to the brain-stimulating weirdness of That Mitchell and Webb look. Not to mention shows that politically aren't appropriate nowadays, such as Boo Selector, but still had an impact on me.
Oh, Mitchell and Webb is great. Yeah, I forgot about that. I loved that.
And Peep Show. Let's not forget about Peep Show.
Yeah, well, I was gonna mention that in the Patreon bit. But yeah, Peep Show's fucking incredible.
Actually, people put a lot in for this one. We got Kurt Lewin up next. This boy, he says, Faulty Towers would always be my first choice for this question, but I want to give a shout out to something more recent, and that is the Channel 4 sitcom Friday Night Dinner, which I talked about a few weeks ago. It had quite a few series, but I came to it quite late after a recommendation from my sister. It stars one of the lads from The In-Betweeners and the late Paul Ritter. Every episode was a banger, with some scenes leaving me gasping for breath. It was comedy safe for all the family too, as my mum and dad loved it, and it has some famous phrases from the dad, such as shit on it.
Shit on it.
Love that. I love that the end of the series.
I've never seen that.
At the very last scene of the series is just him going, "Oh, shit on it."
Yeah. We also quote like, "Any time it's hot, I'm just like, it's boiling." When you catch like, it's boiling, it's boiling.
Also, shout out to Miranda and Not Going Out. Not quite as consistent in quality, but there were some truly great episodes in there. Now, I can't stand Miranda, but I really enjoyed Not Going Out, except her scenes in it. I don't like her humour. I just can't get away with it. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I'm not a massive fan.
And last up, we have Futile Exercise. Says, after being brought up last week, I have fond memories of the many comedy shows that came along towards the end of the 90s. As mentioned, The Day Today and Brass Eye. I still can't believe some of the celebrities he got on that. The Cake episode, It's a Made-Up Drug, was another standout. Fucking Cake episode. My God. Fucking Phil Collins holding up a cake going, this is the dosage. I don't know how they didn't get it. Like they were making it really obvious that it's a piss take. So good. Maybe not so popular, but my introduction to who I'll come to in a minute was Takeover TV. This late night Channel 4 show where viewers could send in their own weird videos could be seen as a proto YouTube or TikTok. This was interspersed with some well-known names, including Adam Buxton, Joe Cornish, Edgar Wright, Graham Norton, Garth Jennings, and Alexander Armstrong. Which brings me to the Adam and Joe Show. This eclectic selection of sketches, pranks, and toy remakes of films seemed to click with my sense of humour. It still has what I consider to be the best football song ever. Along with Spaced, which came along a bit later, made my Channel 4 my usual Friday night viewing. And with regard to newer content, I'm constantly flabbergasted with some of the crap that has come out more recently, with special mention to Citizen Khan, which, yes, that was dreadful, and the pod-punching bag Mrs. Brown's Boys.
Oh, yes.
On a more positive note, Friday Night Dinner was a constant delight, and it's such a shame that we lost Paul Ritter. Here's hoping more gems emerge. Yep, I agree with everything in that one. like in the late 90s, Channel 4 on a Friday night was an absolute banger.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Channel 4 is I think the place to go for best British comedy stuff now. I think they're the ones that kind of push the envelope as well. Still,
Yeah, because I think the BBC make safe stuff now, don't they? They don't push. They don't have an edge like they used to.
there's stuff on BBC Three that's meant to be really good, but they just don't seem to. If they have something, they just chuck it out onto BBC Three. Like they don't really seem to care. They don't care about putting it on prime time like they used to anymore.
No, which more the shame.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's everything.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for writing in. And this is the end of the podcast. So thank you very much for listening. If you, whatever, I can't even end the podcast either. Come back, Oodles.
Patreon.com/modernescapism. Twitter.
Go to Patreon if you want to get more content. If you want to get more of this excellent content, we have specials coming out every month. We have extra content. We have spoiler specials, all that kind of jazz. Early access to Deep Dive Lounge and Smash That Glass and Do Dragons Dream of Scorched Sheep. Make sure you check out our YouTube page. We don't advertise that enough, but if you want to go and just check out some of our reviews or videos, or you want to share them with your friends, listen to these guys talk about this, then you can go get all that on our YouTube page. So make sure you like and subscribe, guys. But yeah, for now,
join our Discord.
That's an episode. That's a podcast. If you are a patron, we'll see you in the green room. But for everyone else, goodbye.
Bye. Editing.
Cut that bit out.
Of course I am.
There you go.
Lots of editing to do in the first 7 minutes.
It's still early in the year. It's fine.
The podcast on your Gadget. Of course I am.